I tried doing it by myself. And I thought I was doing okay. And I kind of bragged to my daughter. This is my daughter. And my daughter laughed. And then she said, Mom, you need to do this, and you need to do this, and you need to do this, and you need to do this. And I said, okay, honey. And then I did what I wanted to do.
Sure.
And nothing happened. And then she said, Mom, you need to do this, and you need to do this, and you need to do this. And then I did what she said. And my sales doubled. And they doubled within 6 months. So you need to listen to what she says. Because if you want to sell your art online, she knows what she's talking about.
Does she cover shipping as well?
We talked about that today. And she didn't cover the shipping in this today. She's going to cover, I'm going to let her tell you what she covers.
All right.
Okay. Hi, so I'm Tamara Buds, and I do digital marketing and offline marketing. Can I get any louder?
I
think you might need to just get closer to your face.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
So, better? Can you hear me? Okay, I will be as loud as I can.
Perfect.
How about that? All right. So, my name's Tamara Buds, and I do marketing. I do digital marketing, offline marketing for small businesses. I started my career at Sears, and I was a buyer at Sears. And I did old school, in the store, brick and mortar selling of my products. And then we moved to digital. And I thought, wow, this is awesome. I can sell a whole lot more products to a whole lot more people that do not have to walk into the store. And that's how I got interested in digital. And that is something that it's only growing. It is exponential growth. And it is something that if you want to sell products today, you really don't have an option anymore. You have to be online. Even if you only sell your stuff at shows, you need to tell people that you will be at the show and they're online looking for you, even if you are not online necessarily trying to reach out to them. So how many of you, your art is your primary job? Okay. How many of you are satisfied with the sales that you have today of your art? None. Okay, so this will be helpful for you. Awesome. Okay. So we're going to start with some of the things that I'm going to cover today. What is digital marketing, for one? Having a website or selling on a marketplace like an Etsy or an Amazon or any of those. Email, and then social media. And I have a little formula that you're going to pick a couple of social media platforms instead of trying to be all things to all people and in places that don't work for you. I find that it is much easier that if Instagram is something you enjoy doing, you will actually go on there and post when you are supposed to. If you do not like Instagram, you're not going to do what I tell you, even if I tell you 100 times like my mom. So we'll start with what is digital marketing. Digital marketing is anything that you talk to your customers about online. So that is anywhere that you could be. It is your website. It is the marketplace like an Etsy or an Amazon marketplace. It is email communication. So anytime that you get an email in your inbox, that's digital marketing. Social media, and then also digital media, which are blogs or podcasts that you might listen to, or the videos that you might watch on YouTube, things like that. And then search engine optimization and marketing. So we're not going to cover those last two today because those are big, broad topics that are not necessary for you to be able to sell right away, right? So you can dig into those things and do a ton of work there to get the incremental sales. But today, we're after the 80%, 20% rule. We want to do 20% of the work that's going to get you 80% of the sales. So in the end, you can absolutely tweak those other items, the social and the search engine, and then some of that marketing that's paid in order to get those incremental sales. But for today, we're going to talk about things that are free for you to do or very inexpensive for you to do in order to get some incremental sales and be able to talk to your customers where they actually are. So the formula is you need one place to sell online, either be on Etsy or be on your own website, or be wherever you choose to be. One. You only need one. If you're splitting your time between two places, you're doing too much work. It's too much maintenance to have both your own website and an Etsy shop. You're moving inventory from one to the other, and you're doing a lot of work for very marginal returns. So pick one place to be online. So that's the first section here, is that website versus marketplace. And I like a website, obviously, because you own the control of that. You own the customer interaction. When someone purchases from you on your website, you get their email address. You can build an email list and say, hey, guess what? I'm going to be at Art in the Park. Oh, hey, guess what? I'm going to go down to Indian Rocks and I'm going to sell my art there. And you can tell people, I'm going to be in this place at this time. Come and find me. And then you also own everything that you put on the website. So you own the images that you put on your own website. Everything that you put up there, you get to control. You get to choose, I like gray instead of blue. So I want my website to be gray, or whatever those things are. The downside to having your own website is that it's more expensive. Putting your listings on Etsy is very inexpensive. It's 20, 30 cents to put it up, and then you pay for the transaction costs. Your own website, it's about $150 a year. So it's something that you're making an investment in your business if you want your own website. The benefits to Etsy, it's a huge marketplace. People are on there every single day. It's one of the most popular websites in the world. So it's number about 300 of all websites anywhere. So that's pretty high ranking. There are a lot of customers there that wouldn't necessarily find your work, but they're on Etsy. They're looking for something unique. They're looking for something that is whatever category they're shopping in. Maybe they have a big gaping hole in their brand new house and they want to fill it with a giant painting. Maybe your work is the one that they're going to find when they go to Etsy to look for that. Or Amazon Marketplace is really trying to put some resources toward building their atmosphere and their following up. So that might be something to explore. If you are open to the idea of working with a platform that's not as well established, I would highly recommend Amazon Marketplace, because they are trying to build a following, and Amazon's huge. Eventually they're going to get it right, because that's what they do. They will not stop until they get it right, basically. So the downsides to the marketplace is that you don't own that. You're renting space, basically, for your listing. They control the customer experience. They control the email address. You are not allowed to privately email the people who buy from you on those platforms. They own that experience. They own that relationship. That customer is Etsy's customer or Amazon's customer. They are not your customer, like the people who see you at the Art in the Park and like the people who visit your own website. All right, next we are going to move on to email. So email is my favorite marketing online. It is my absolute favorite. I highly recommend that everyone collect emails from your customers. It is paramount that you communicate with the people that buy from you, because chances are, if they like your art enough to buy it the first time, they're going to come back. They want to buy for their friends. They want to buy another piece for their own house. They want to buy a bigger piece when they move to a bigger house. You want those customers to be loyal customers that come back to you again and again. And they will forget that you exist if you do not communicate with them. If you don't say, hey, guess what? I'm still here. I'm still painting. I'm still sculpting. I am still creating. They will completely forget, and they will find a different artist, because what they are looking for is the experience that you create for them, not necessarily your exact work. So you need to communicate with them about what they are looking for. So your customers are selfish. All people are selfish. That's just human nature. They want the experience. They want to see what it does in their house. Oh, this would be perfect for my fireplace. This would be perfect for my house. They're not thinking, I like that artist's work necessarily. You need to tell them that. You need to tell them how you stand out from everybody else. And in your email communication, you can do that. You can say, hey, I have worked on this particular technique and I have been doing, and you are going to be consistent with them. You're going to send them an email on a regular basis. So I cannot stress that enough. Write that down. Send people consistent messages. If you choose to communicate with your customers once a week, you better type out that email every single week. If you choose once a month, it should be every single month. It needs to be consistent because customers trust brands that are consistent. When you get an email from Lowe's or Home Depot or whoever, it's branded, it comes on the same schedule, and it comes with their messaging that they're telling you, this is where you can find us. We're in the same location. This is when we're open. So do the same thing for your customers. It's the same experience. You want to make sure that your customers understand where you are, and you want to communicate with them pretty frequently. And you want to be very, very consistent about it. So it's the same kind of thing with Google or Facebook or any of those. They are running their algorithm and consistency because they know that consistency matters with customers. That is something that they are focusing on as well. So that consistency piece, when you are, when you're typing your messages in your emails or really anywhere, you want to say, this is my schedule, I wrote it on my calendar, and okay, it's Sunday night, I better get writing. Or okay, it's Thursday afternoon. Message number 2, no matter how much I don't want to do it, I'm going to do it. So I can't stress that enough. And then finally, how you send the emails. So you're going to choose some kind of platform, and it might be MailChimp, or that's in your notes, MailChimp is. That is a platform where you can house your customers' information and then track. You can see how often they open your emails, and you can see how often they click through to your website, and you can see which of the customers that click through to your website are the ones that are placing an order. That's pretty important data. You want to know who your customers are. You want to know whether they're actually opening your emails, and then, oh wow, that same person is going to buy from me, and that same person is, I recognize that name. They visited me at Art in the Park. That's how I got that email address in the first place. So you want to just be pretty consistent across the board. Same kind of communication. Your customers should feel like when you send them an email, just like they're having a conversation with you at your booth, standing in front of your table, very friendly. Your business is one of personal interaction. So people are coming in and they're seeing your work and having that experience with your work. And so if you can be consistent with those messages that you're emailing to them and giving them that behind the scenes feel, they'll keep coming back to you for that. And they'll really feel familiar with you. And then that is how it translates into, I follow this artist, instead of, I want to create this experience in my home. So you want to move them toward loving you. Okay, and then finally, we're going to talk about social media. So social media is, again, with the consistency. I'm giving you the basic formula here. Choose 2 platforms. 2. Write that down. It's in there. Underline it 100 times. I don't care. 2. Choose 2 forms that you love. Okay, so if you think that Facebook is where it's at, be on Facebook. If you cannot stand Facebook, just cross it out. Don't even think about it. Don't put yourself in a position where you feel like you must be on a platform that you do not enjoy using, because you won't use it. Your customers will sense that you don't like it. Your customers will sense that it is a false message, and they'll tune it out completely and stop following you altogether. So if you choose Instagram, these are listed on your paper in order by the best medium for artists. So I've listed it out. Instagram is number 1 for artists because it is a very visual platform. So my mom over there, she had a retail store reach out to her and say, hey, we want to sell your art in our store, because they found her on Instagram. So what you want is to be in places where you can put your products in front of people who might like to buy them. And Instagram is a great one for artists because you can show off your work. You can show off the nitty gritty little details. That piece that she just won Best in Show for, she built up into showing the final piece by showing some of the stages of building that on her Instagram. So it was a little butterfly, and then it was a dragonfly, and then it was a flower, a couple of flowers, and it built up into finally the reveal of the big piece. So if you are a painter who does giant canvases, show me a little piece. Show me a little snippet of your work to get me interested enough to keep looking, keep following. And then you can show tiled. So Instagram, I have pictures here of what it looks like. I guess, no, it doesn't matter because they can't see my screen. So anyway, it's a tiled medium, basically. So you've got 9 squares that visually you can show upper left corner, center top, upper right corner, and you can show those pieces a little at a time so that if someone goes to your profile, they can see the whole thing all at once. So if you are painting bigger pieces, sometimes that works. If you are, honestly, even a tiny one, because you can get really close with a camera that you use on your phone. Yes, ma'am?
Tamara, there was a concern brought up about putting your pieces on some of the social media. The people were stealing them.
Okay.
They were even removing the watermarks, if you put watermarks on it.
Yep.
One suggestion was made by a friend of mine who's an artist on Instagram. Just show a corner of the painting, just a piece of it, not the entire piece. Because there are people who are actually pirating those pieces and selling them as theirs. So do you have any recommendations on how to secure your stuff on there?
Yeah, actually, we talked about that. You can photograph your work at an angle so that someone can still see the entire piece, but they would have a hard time cropping out those white corners and making it look perfectly square, basically. So you can photograph. That's almost a photography lesson of how to photograph your work online for sale. But you can get images of your work. I would always watermark it anyways, even if someone can try and remove the watermark. That's a lot of work. But I would take pictures of angled pieces or of your work in a space. So maybe take a picture of it hanging above someone's fireplace. So it's not just the work, because if they tighten in that much and crop, they lose the graphic and the detail of it. So it doesn't make sense to crop in on something that is set in a room scene, basically. So I would absolutely get creative with it, especially if that's something that you're concerned about. But you can still show your work. You can show pieces of it. You can show details of it. You can show your brush strokes if you're a painter. You can show the in progress work so that you get the feel and kind of get people along for the ride. You want your potential customers to follow along.
Excuse me, do you have a good source for watermarks?
I don't, actually. I wish I did.
I've been looking for one.
Yeah, I could see that. All right, so Pinterest is my second favorite medium for artists. Pinterest is also a very visual medium. If you choose Pinterest, you're going to pin 15 to 30 images at a time, and you're going to do it 2 to 3 days a week. I might not have said it. Instagram, 3 to 4 posts per week. Don't post every day. You're going to drive people crazy. People will stop following you. Instagram has its own algorithm that will show your posts to people on their time. Pinterest does the same. All social media does. But if you overwhelm the system with a bunch of posts all at once, they don't show your audience all of them. They're going to pick 1 or 2. So you want to be consistent on a schedule. Maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday is your day or your schedule. If you're in the studio or whatever, use that schedule. So back to Pinterest. You're going to pin other people's work onto boards that inspire you and your own work. So you want to show off, this is what inspires me. This is what I create. And you're going to organize it in ways that are pretty easy for people to follow.
So different boards, right?
Different boards, yes, absolutely. So your work should be in a place of its own. It should be the first board on your page. So if someone goes to your profile, your work should be the very first thing that they see. And then follow that up with maybe their color boards. Maybe you like greens and oranges and whatever those are, organize them that way if that's how your brain thinks. Or if it is, if you're doing lifestyles or if you're doing portraits, whatever the work that you do, organize it in that way. Whatever makes sense to you will probably be close enough to the way that your customers would follow it. And then YouTube. So how many of you have ever done a demo for this group? Oh. Okay. And how many of you have done a demo for a different group? Okay, so we've got some. So if you've done a demo, it's similar to what you're going to do for a YouTube video. You don't want to do the whole thing necessarily. You want them to be short snippets. This is how I make these strokes. This is how I cut this glass. This is how I roll out this whatever. Snippets. They should be 5 minutes at the most, and you should have a collection of videos. So it should be things that all fall into a group, and organize it that way so that right now maybe you're focusing on how to choose inspiration or how to choose the right medium or whatever that is. Video yourself doing it.
Okay, wait.
Yes.
I have to interrupt for just 1 minute here.
Yeah.
There are those of you who think, oh no, I can't do this part. But you can, because there are many of us. And many of us have smartphones, and we can pair up, we can buddy up, and we can record each other. So yes, you can.
Yes, absolutely you can. And you don't have to if it's not one of your 2 preferred platforms. If YouTube is not your favorite, don't use YouTube. But if you are even remotely inclined to show the behind the scenes of how you do your work, YouTube's a great way to do it, and it's a great way to get people to follow along. And you might make a couple of bucks because YouTube will pay you for however many views you get and things like that. So that's always good. Okay, and then last, Facebook. So you notice it's the most popular, but I saved it for last because it's good. It's still good for artists, but it's not as visual as the others. You can't show necessarily behind the scenes the way that you can in a video or the way that you can with a tiled group of photographs. So Facebook is good if you want to reach a lot of people, if you want to create events, if you are a teaching artist who works at the Fine Arts Center and you want to get people to sign up for your classes or things like that. Facebook is a great place for that particular group. So you kind of have to choose what's best for your business and what's best for you. Notice I said business. This is a business for all of you, by the way. Run it like it's a business. Treat it like it's for real. If you're not happy with your sales, then treat it like it's a real business, and they will grow. I can tell you that much. They will grow. So a few good tips for, yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, go ahead and then I'll...
Okay, a few good tips for overall social media. If you have a friend who also likes Instagram, partner up and promote one another's work. If you have a friend who also likes Facebook, partner up and promote one another's work. Because when you say, hey, this is my friend Sue, and she just won Best in Show, then people attribute that success not only to her, but to you as well, because you are friends with an artist who just won a big prize. That's great. That's great for both of you. So I would say that if you are a new installation in a gallery, find other artists that are in that same gallery and platforms that work for both of you, and then leverage that. So, yes, ma'am.
How do you get, I mean, you post a picture of your painting on Facebook.
Yep.
You get compliments on it. How do you sell it on Facebook?
Okay, so you're not going to sell it necessarily on Facebook. You can, but that requires a lot more detail.
Okay.
But the way that you build up that following, you talk to the same person, it takes 5 touches, 5. Someone has to see your work 5 times, interact with your brand 5 times before they're going to make a purchase from you. So they might see that post on Facebook. They might see a different artist called you out on Instagram and said, hey, that's my friend. And then someone sees you at Art in the Park, and then they see your stuff hanging on the wall at Sterling, and then they go to your website and buy from you because they've
building a resume.
Yes, absolutely. 5 touches. It does not get less than that. Sometimes more, but considered purchases are more than that. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so on Facebook,
Yes.
is it worth doing the boosts that they send you, or is that just a ploy?
I don't boost a post. I would not boost a post. Posts that are written for general consumption on Facebook are not the same kind of post that I would promote on Facebook. On Facebook, I am promoting either a shop link or an event. In your case, for art especially. Either you're going to send someone from Facebook straight to your website or your Etsy shop and you want them to buy from you that day, or you're going to send them to sign up for whatever event that you're running so that they go to the gallery and make their purchase there once they've seen the work in person. Especially for work that does better in person, send them to the event.
Okay, so links is the best way to
Yes.
make a link on
Yes.
Facebook with your post
Yes.
and send them to the other side.
Yes, absolutely. Now, Facebook does not necessarily like that. Facebook wants to keep people on Facebook. That's their job. Their job is to keep people on Facebook. So if you post a video on your Facebook page of you doing the detailed work, they're going to show that to more people than your post with a link. Your free posts, by the way, the ones you pay for, they're going to show it to whoever you're paying for. But your free posts, if it's an image that is going to get a lot of reaction, which, I mean, look, this is why fake news does so well, because people are outraged and they are reacting. Facebook wants reactions. And so they will share things, much different in your case than that, but they're going to share things that are going to get reactions. Ideally, you're going to get the little heart because people love your work, or they're going to say, wow. Or the more wows and the more loves that you get, the more people Facebook is going to naturally show that to. A like is good, but a reaction is better. All right. Again, I'm going to say it. Be consistent. So if you pick Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays are your days. Don't commit to something to yourself that you're not going to actually commit to. It takes a long time before you start seeing results. It takes a lot of consistent posts. Now, my mom said her business grew in 6 months, and it did, absolutely. But there were lots of times that all of my customers, they don't want to do it, and I tell them, and they have to do it. But it does take time, and it's like anything. It is a job. It is a job, and you have to treat it like it is your job, because that's how you grow. I have customers that they sell other things, not necessarily art, but I have one who sells mom and baby products, and her business grew by 500 times, like over 12 months, so a little bit longer timeline, purely because she started doing the work on schedule. It wasn't that she wasn't doing it at all, it's that she was doing it inconsistently. So it's better to talk to your customers once a month, always on the 15th, than it is to talk to them 3 times in a row every week and then not for 3 months. So just be in people's inboxes on a fairly regular basis. Collect emails at those shows. Collect emails on gallery days. Collect emails in your studio so that you can follow up with people. Because they might have questions, and they might meet you and say, I'm not ready to buy today, but then be ready to buy in a couple of months. So, and then interact with your audience in social, in email. If you get a reply to one of your emails, that's great. That means somebody's engaging with you and interacting with you, and they want to continue that conversation. Reply back to them. Hey, thanks for your comment. Thanks for loving my work. And then same thing on social media. Interact with the people that comment on your posts. Share when someone posts a picture of your work hanging over their fireplace or a sculpture sitting on their fireplace. You want to share the experience of that particular person with as many other people as possible. So that, yes.
What's the best way to share it? Individually or as a group?
Individually, or if you have a group that you regularly interact with. So if you're an instructor, for example, and you have a group of students that you engage with on Facebook, you can share in those groups. Absolutely. But on a one-off basis, that's the best. Because the person who posted it is going to feel good about it, and then that's also going to show it to other people.
Or you see something go out like in a group message, is that a good way to do it? Or should you mainly
One-on-one is better.
better?
Yeah. Yes.
How do you collect the emails to have email lists so
Yep.
it indicate who, where they are, what they like, what have you? What type of, do you use a spreadsheet or
I do.
software?
I use a spreadsheet, good old-fashioned spreadsheet, and I list on there how they found me. I list on there, so like from Mom's email list, it's did they find her from an art in the park? Did they find her from a gallery? Did they find her on her Etsy shop and reach out to her privately? So it is, I want to know where they found you so that you can kind of communicate in the best way possible with them. So if you've got a customer who always comes to see you when you're doing a live event, then don't promote an email, online sale to them, because they'll just come and see you. Or vice versa. If someone is in Tallahassee, they're probably not going to drive down here, but they might buy from you online.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and that is it. So one place to sell online, either a website or a marketplace. One, yes,
Instagram, you said.
one email, and then 2 social platforms. Instagram would be a social platform. So, yes.
Okay, I've been on Pinterest just to see pictures and stuff, and I've clicked on where it says visit.
Yeah.
So I've gone to their website. But if that were my product I was selling, how would I get somebody to buy my picture? If they go to my website, you have to have a website for them to go to, right?
Yes, yes.
So
Or
that
you can
is-
link to your marketplace shop if you sell on Etsy or Amazon.
Okay, so then for you still have to have the website.
Yes.
So if you're selling on Etsy or
You can
Pinterest,
you can link straight to Etsy. Yes.
so you still have a website, and then you have a way to sell?
No, you only need one. You don't have to have a website. You can send that pin, the picture of your image, straight to Etsy.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
And then they buy.
And they buy right from Etsy, right there.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
you
have
don't
my
need
pins go
both.
Directly to Etsy, so that when they click on it, it goes directly to my Etsy site, so that when they see it on Etsy, they can click buy.
Yes.
How do you find someone to help you make a website, and how much?
That's how you find her, she's right there.
So I do that. I do.
Okay.
So I do. I make websites for people, and I usually price it by page. But we are all similar. The people who create websites, it's a pretty simple formula. You pay by the page, however many pages you need. So for an artist, I would say you need 3 pages. Do not let someone tell you that you need more than 3 pages. Do not let someone tell you that you need more than 3 pages on your website. I'm not kidding. You need a home page that they get to when they first arrive.